Part 3 of the Baddies Midwest Reunion picks up where the last one left off, where Dolly is standing up on the couch because there's a lot of fighting going on, and Ivory starts pressing Dolly because she wants to fight. And Dolly starts telling Ivory that she's not going to fight her because she just fought Tasiki, and I was scratching my head when she said that because I was confused as to why she would think that Ivory or any of the other girls that have beef with her was going to care that she fought Tasiki. They're still going to want to fight her anyway. And so when Dolly was standing up on the couch, Ivory ran up there out of nowhere and she starts swinging on Dolly. So the two of them start fighting with each other, okay? And from what I seen, and I did slow down what part of the fight we were able to see on the reunion, and it did look like it was a tie. It looked like they were keeping up with each other, to be honest with you. But because Summer tried to run over there to get involved in the fight, Jasmine and Jaden ended up running over there to stop Summer from jumping in. But before they could get to Summer, security ended up snatching her up anyway. I feel like Dolly was handling herself well in the fight with Ivory, so I don't feel like it was necessary for Summer to try to get involved in the first place. Then security is holding Scotty's arm, okay? And she's walking next to Lex and she's calling Lex out for a fight, and Lex kind of just walks past her and doesn't even pay Scotty any attention. And I saw people in the comment section saying that, you know, Lex was being scary, but that's delusional to say because we know that Lex is not scared of Scotty. Nobody's scared of Scotty. Anybody will fight her. So I don't understand why people were saying that she was scared. I feel like there was no reason for Lex to try to fight Scotty because security was going to protect Scotty anyway. As soon as Lex would have swung on Scotty, security would have been over there to whisk her away like they always do. So to me, them two fighting was pointless. But what I will say is I will give it up to Scotty because even though most of the season she's kind of boring and she fades into the background, towards the end of this season she really picked up the pace, and I feel like she earned her spot this season, and I think that it's good that she was able to get in the paint and really defend herself at the reunion. Now Ivory ended up walking past Lex when she was finished fighting with Dolly, and she ended up asking Lex if she was cool. So Lex asked her if she was cool and she said that she was, and Lex said that she was cool, so they both agreed that they weren't gonna fight. Now I feel like the two of them actually liked each other. After they were done fighting with each other, I think they actually got along throughout the rest of the season. However, because they fought throughout the season, it was necessary for them to fight again at the reunion and just close the chapter on the beef between the two of them. I honestly think that had Ivory not started with Lex at the very beginning of this season, I think they actually would have been cool with each other, and I think there would have been a different dynamic during this season. But because Ivory kind of went at Lex at the beginning of the season, that's the reason why things played out the way that it did. But I'm glad the two of them were able to squash their beef. Now look, Lex was not letting up on Jayla because Jayla did jump in a fight that Lex had earlier in the reunion. I don't remember what fight it was. I think it was when Lex ran at Ahna. She was hitting Lex from behind, and I definitely saw that, and I rewinded it and slowed it down and everything. There is a point at the first part of the reunion, I believe, where Lex does end up getting jumped for a second. She gets jumped by Jayla, Scotty, and Ahna, and so Ahna keeps saying throughout the reunion that she got jumped, but I didn't see that. I definitely saw Lex get jumped, and Jayla was one of the people that jumped in that fight, so Lex is calling her out for a fight. And at first Jayla is asking Lex why she wants to fight her, and Lex is telling her that she tried to jump her, so that's the reason why she wanted to fight. So they run up on each other and they start swinging a little bit, and as Lex is catching Jayla in the face, Jayla decides that she's going to wrap her arm around Lex's neck so that she can't really swing. And honestly, I'm tired of Jayla doing that every time she fights Lex. She wraps her arm around her neck so that she can't swing. I know the point is to not get hit and you be able to hit the other person, but Jayla wasn't even hitting Lex. She was just wrapping her arm around Lex's neck, and that kind of ruins the fight for me, to be honest. But security ended up breaking that fight up, and they immediately started fighting again. Now, after they were done yelling back and forth at each other, Lex ends up running up and she pops Jayla right in the face. I don't know if she hit her in the nose, but I definitely saw that swing hit Jayla in the face, okay? So Jayla and Lex start fighting, and once again Jayla ends up wrapping her arm around Lex's neck, and I hate when she does that. So Lex gets sick of it and she decides to drop Jayla on her back. She literally slams her down on her back and she starts hitting Jayla, and so Jayla is losing the fight at this point. So Jayla ends up biting Lex on her arm, and Lex is yelling, she's biting me, she's biting me, and Natalie starts yelling for there to be no biting, and because Jayla bit Lex, Lex ended up biting Jayla back. Now I don't agree with the whole biting thing. It's just nasty. I don't know why you would want to bite anybody. And because Jayla did not like when Gretchen bit her last season, I just don't understand why she decided to bite Lex. Now, she made a post yesterday claiming that the reason why she bit Lex was because she was defending Gretchen, so now she needs to feel what it feels like to get, you know, bit. But I'm not buying that at all. I think Jayla bit Lex because she was losing the fight. I feel like she bit Lex for the same reason Gretchen bit her, which was because she was losing the fight, okay? She can make whatever excuses that she wants, and I know people like Jayla, so they'll probably buy it, but I'm not buying it. I think she bit Lex because she was losing that fight. Now, when the fight finally gets broken up, Lex is yelling, okay, because she's pissed off at the fact that Jayla bit her. So now she wants to fight her again. And security is trying to hold Lex back and calm her down. But Lex is not calming down at all. She's upset. And people were saying, why is she yelling? She needs to calm down. If you got bit really hard during a fight, you would be mad too. So I feel like she has a reason to be as mad as she was. But when the camera shows Jayla walking backstage, she's holding her nose, okay? So I think one of those hits that Lex did, it either busted her nose open or something, okay? Because she was holding her nose and she would not let the camera see it. And she had a huge knot on her forehead, okay? A really big knot. So Jayla got messed up. I'm sorry. I'm not saying Jayla can't fight. She can fight. But when it comes to Lex, I just feel like she can't beat her. So far, we haven't seen her. So after that situation gets calmed down and Jayla goes backstage and Lex is trying to calm herself down, that's when Summer and Jasmine run up on each other. Like, they run at each other and they start swinging. To me, neither one of them can really fight. They were catching each other a little bit, but really neither one of them was doing anything. But Ivori comes over there and she takes her leg and she swipes it underneath Summer's foot and trips her and she falls. Summer got up really quick though. I will say that normally I would say Ivori doing that was wrong because, you know, Summer could have really hurt her ankle. However, Summer did jump in Ivori's fight with Lex. I think it was the last round that they did. She ran over there and she started trying to hit Ivori. So I feel like Ivori was just trying to get Summer back. And look, I know that Ivori was trying to help out Jasmine to get at Summer, but Jasmine didn't really get Summer, even though Ivori helped her by tripping Summer on the floor, because as soon as, you know, Summer tripped on the floor, Jasmine should have took off on her really quickly, but she didn't. And so she really didn't do much to Summer. So people saying that Jasmine whooped Summer, she really kind of didn't. If you slow down the fight, she wasn't really connecting anything, and neither was Summer. Now, everybody starts laughing when Ivori tripped Summer because people weren't expecting it, and the way that Ivori did it, it was kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. And how fast Summer jumped up off the floor was kind of funny as well. But Dolly in the corner laughing at the situation kind of looked bad on her part, because now people are saying that she's not really Summer's friend, and people already suspected that she was only latching onto Summer because Summer was getting all the attention and all the screen time, and they feel like that's why she, you know, became friends with Summer. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do think that even if Dolly was thinking it was funny, she probably should have held her laugh in when the cameras weren't looking at her, because it did look bad that she was laughing about it. Now, when things finally calm down a little bit, that's when Santana starts talking about the fight between Lex and Ivori, and he said that they had a really good fight and he felt like it was a tie and that they were keeping up with each other. But the crowd was trying to basically say that Ivori won the fight with Lex, and to me, I slowed down the fight, okay? Because if you don't slow it down, you won't really see who's winning the fight. When I slowed down the fight between Ivori and Lex in all the rounds that they fought, Ivori did catch Lex a couple of times, but not as many times as Lex caught Ivori. When they were standing up fighting, Lex kept catching Ivori, and it's because Ivori has a tendency of putting her head down when she's fighting, and so Lex is able to catch her. Now, Ivori did get Lex down on the floor, and that's when she was able to get more hits in on Lex, but when they were standing up, Lex was definitely catching her. So I can give it a tie. I could say it was a tie. I personally think that Lex won, but if you want to say that it was a tie, I wouldn't argue with you about it. So while Santana is trying to have this conversation about the fight between Ivori and Lex, that's when Dolly comes out and she's on demon time, okay? She's ready to fight Pretty P. So they start fighting and Dolly starts whooping Pretty P. I'm sorry, I like Pretty P. She grew on me during this season, but she definitely lost this fight with Dolly. Both rounds she ended up losing. Dolly was catching her, she was uppercutting her and everything. And Pretty P's problem is, again, she fights with her head down and her eyes closed, so she can't see what's going on. Dolly fights with her head up, so she's able to see what she's doing. Pretty P needs to learn how to stop closing her eyes and stop putting her head down when she's fighting. So when the first round between Pretty P and Dolly gets broken up, Dolly rips her shirt off because it was already coming off because Pretty P was pulling on her shirt during the fight. And so Dolly's boobs are out, okay? And she ends up fighting Pretty P again because Pretty P runs up on her, and again, she beats Pretty P up. I'm sorry, Pretty P definitely lost the second round as well. And even Saucy Santana was saying that. And some of the people in the crowd were trying to say that Pretty P won that fight, but Saucy Santana made it very clear that he saw Dolly win that fight with Pretty P, and he was standing right there and he saw the whole thing. And then he clocked the audience because he said that he's tired of people acting like they don't have eyes and can't see who won the fight. And I completely agree, because I've been saying that in every review that I've been doing. Just because you like somebody doesn't mean you can't admit when they lost a fight or when they're wrong in a situation. If you like somebody, you should still be able to say they lost a fight or they were wrong in a certain situation. That's just maturity. That's just having integrity. So I think it was was stupid that people were trying to say that Dolly didn't win that fight. She absolutely did, and if you slow down the fight, you'll see that she won. Now, they end up bringing out Emma, Yoshi, and Nunu, and Nunu looked really cute. Her outfit was really nice. She was dressed in all red. She looked really pretty. Now, Santana immediately starts addressing Emma, and he ends up asking her if she squashed the beef that she had with Scotty throughout the season, and she said that she did squash the beef and that her and Scotty ended up deading things before she left the season because it was no point in them continuing to beef with each other just because she thought that Scotty was boring. Now, Santana asked her who won the fight between her and Scotty because the way the camera was spinning around, it looked like Scotty was the one that was winning, but Emma tried to say that she won the fight with Scotty in that room and that Scotty knows that she lost, but Scotty tried to say that she won. I personally think that Scotty lost that fight to Emma in that room, and the reason why they swung the camera around is because obviously Scotty is more protected than any other baddie on the show, so they're not going to make her look bad and show that she really got beat up, but I definitely don't think that she won that fight with Emma. Now, Emma did call everybody out, especially Zeus Network, because she said that she felt like they were trying to push the boring narrative on her just because she called out Scotty for being boring. And that's when Rolley ended up jumping in and she started saying that Emma brought it on herself because she shouldn't have tried to fight Scotty because she felt like Scotty was boring, because she feels like that's not a valid reason to try to fight somebody. And even though Rolley is right about that, I mean, she tried to fight somebody for an even stupider reason. She tried to fight T, and she did end up fighting T a few seasons ago because T was sick and she was, complaining a little bit. That's not a reason to fight anybody either, but she still did it. So I just don't understand where she's coming from with that. And I do feel like Emma was wrong for calling out Scotty for being boring, because I do feel like that's the reason why, Zeus made it seem like Emma was more boring than she actually was. But I will say that a lot of people felt like Scotty was boring. Everybody, the fans and everybody, used to constantly say that Scotty was boring, and now because a new girl came in and called her out for being boring, now everybody wants to make it seem like Scotty's not boring. Scotty wasn't boring towards the end of this season, but every other season Scotty has been absolutely boring. And this is why I kind of like Saucy Santana being the one to host the reunions, because he was right. He clocked it. He said that, everybody watches the show as a viewer and sees what we see on the show, and if we think somebody's boring, we're going to say that we think they're boring. The only difference is Emma was actually able to be on the same show with Scotty and was able to call her out for it, but she was only saying what everybody else at home was saying. And he said that, the OGs were being boring. They were. The OGs got way too comfortable in their spot, and so the viewers felt like the OGs were boring. And Janisha actually ended up agreeing with Santana, saying that the newbies were the ones that brought all the energy and entertainment for this season, and that the OGs got too comfortable and entitled in their spots and felt like they didn't have to do much and fell back. And that's the truth. They absolutely did. That's why I'm surprised at all the fans that love the OGs so much and hate all the new girls, because had the new girls not been there, it would have been a very boring, dull season. Now, Janisha does end up asking Nunu where she stands with Ahna and Biggie, and basically she said that she understood why they were having each other's back, and she actually laughed about it when she watched the season back, and her and Ahna were kind of laughing with each other a little bit, so I guess they squashed their beef. I'm fine with them squashing their beef because it was boring to begin with. But while they're having this conversation, that's when Biggie and Tasiki end up coming back on stage, and that's when Ahna starts saying that she's upset with Biggie because Biggie sat there and watched her get jumped and did absolutely nothing. And then she started saying how she doesn't want Biggie to fight for her because she knows that Biggie's not a fighter, and that's when Santana ended up interrupting her, and again, he clocked it because he said what I was thinking this entire time. She keeps lying, saying that she doesn't want Biggie to fight for her, but then gets mad when Biggie doesn't fight for her, and that's what Santana said to her, and it's the truth. If you didn't care for her to fight for you, then why do you get mad every time she doesn't? If you know that she never does, why even expect it? I mean, like I said before, I understand why Ahna feels the way that she feels, because at the end of the day, if somebody's your friend and they see you fighting multiple people, they should at least be over there trying to break it up, even if they're not a fighter. And because Biggie just stands back, I think it's because Biggie's scary. She's scared to get hit, and that's the reason why she doesn't jump in. So I'm just saying, I feel like Ahna shouldn't even be expecting Biggie to do anything because she never really does. I didn't like that they had a fan get on the microphone from the audience and start calling out Biggie, though, saying how Biggie sat there and watched Ahna get jumped, and Anna's only 90 pounds soaking wet, and she fought big ass Lex. Everybody keeps calling Lex so big, as if Scotty's not big, and as if, Jayla's not 5'9", okay? She's not the only tall, bigger girl on the season, so I don't understand why they keep emphasizing Lex's size, as if Ahna didn't fight Scotty the very first season she came on. And I don't understand why the fan from the audience started saying how Ahna is 90 pounds soaking wet and she's fighting big ass Lex. It's like, okay, well then Ahna needs to shut up. If she's that small and she can't defend herself, then she needs to stop running her mouth and stop jumping in other people's fights then, because if she doesn't want to get hit by somebody bigger than her, she shouldn't be running her mouth to people that are bigger than her. I'm tired of people using her size as an excuse for her to be able to get away with everything and nobody do anything to her. And the audience was really getting on my nerves. I really hope they don't do a live audience the next reunion for Baddies Africa, because it's so annoying. They started booing Biggie and getting mad at her, saying that she was lying because she said that Ahna didn't get jumped. Ahna did not get jumped. Watch the reunion and slow the shit down. Ahna never got jumped. Nobody ever had the opportunity to jump Ahna, okay? So I don't understand why she keeps saying that she got jumped and Biggie sat there and watched it. Yeah, Biggie should have got up and broken up the fights, but Ahna runs her mouth a lot and puts herself in these situations where she has to fight. Having a friend like Ahna is gonna have you fighting all the time, because she gets into so many beefs that she starts with other people that you're gonna have to fight for her all the time. So I can kind of understand where Biggie's coming from with that. Now they end up bringing Summer, Dolly, and Lex back on the stage, and that's when Santana and Janisha start asking Lex and Ivory if they're done beefing with each other, and the two of them admitted that they're done beefing with each other, and that, you know, Lex says she never really had a problem with Ivory to begin with. Ivory started with her, and that is true, and I feel like a lot of people forget that. Ivory was the one that started with Lex in the first place, so that's the reason why they were beefing to begin with. But I'm interested to see what it'll be like for them to be cool for a season, so I'm hoping that next season the two of them don't fight with each other, because they did say that they were airing the new season of Baddies Africa on May 11th, which is coming up really soon. But then Summer ended up inserting herself into the back and forth between Lex and Ivory, and she started asking Ivory why she's willing to make up with Lex but wants to fight her. And basically Ivory stood up and said that the reason why she went after Summer is because Summer jumped in her fight, which is true. Summer did jump in her fight, so that's the reason why she got involved in her fight that she was having with Jasmine. Ivory did try to get Summer to give her a hug so they could squash the beef, but Summer was not buying it, and I think that she made the right choice, because I feel like had Summer would have gotten up and hugged Ivory, I think Ivory would have hit her. So I feel like she made the right decision. I do feel like Summer is a little bit scared of Ivory. I don't think she's scared of her because she did fight her before, but I think she doesn't want to fight her anymore, and so I feel like that's the reason why she didn't get up and hug her either. Now at some point they do end up asking Summer why she was beefing with Scotty, and she said that originally when she got casted for the show, Scotty is who she wanted to really get to know, but after the situation where Scotty went back and told Rolley something that Natalie said when Natalie told her that in confidence, she felt some type of way about Scotty and felt like, you know, Scotty's not a real friend, and that's why she called her out. Now I will say I do feel like Summer should have minded her business, but Summer does have a point. If the OGs are gonna argue and fight in front of the new girls, they can't expect for them to just sit there and not give their opinion on a situation, because if it was the other way around and it was the newbies fighting with each other about something in front of the OGs definitely would have inserted themselves in it. I just feel like Summer went about it the wrong way. She took it a little bit too personally, but I didn't like how they were questioning Lex about why she got involved in the beef that Ahna and Scotty had with Summer. That was a dumb question to me, and I feel like Lex shouldn't have even had to explain it, but she told them once again that she saw Ahna and Scotty tag teaming Summer, and that's her friend, so she got involved to even the playing field. That's not rocket science, so I don't understand why they asked her that in the first place. Now, they end up bringing Slim out at the very last minute. I feel like they could have brought her on a little bit sooner, but her issue was only with Rolley, so I feel like that's the reason why they waited for the last minute to bring her out. But as soon as she came out, her and Rolley kind of ended up having a little bit of a back and forth, because Rolley would not let Slim talk. Like, as soon as Slim tried to speak, Rolley immediately jumped in and she started yelling over her, which was really annoying to me. I hate when people yell back and forth or they yell over each other. Just let one person talk at a time and then you can say what you have to say, but that was not really happening. Rolley said that the reason why she mentioned Slim's father at all is because Slim gave her opinion on social media about Gretchen saying the N-word. So she got online and said that really Slim shouldn't be saying the N-word either, because her father is only half black, not fully black. And I feel like that was still shady to say. I mean, she said that because she wanted the fans to attack Slim the way that they attacked Gretchen for saying it, and that's the reason why she said it. So she shouldn't have mentioned Slim's father at all. She was mentioning it in a disrespectful way. So Slim said, F you and your son. And I can understand why Rolley was upset about that too. They were both wrong in that situation. The problem is Rolley won't admit that she was wrong in the situation. She's only saying Slim is wrong. Slim already apologized multiple times to Rolley, even though she knows they're not going to be friends anymore. She already admitted that she was wrong for saying what she said. She took accountability for her part in the situation. And Rolley just refuses to take accountability for her part in the situation, and she won't admit that she was wrong as well. And that's the problem. Rolley thinks that she's a victim in the situation when she's actually not. And so they went back and forth with each other. The conversation really didn't go anywhere. Summer did end up getting up and apologizing to Slim for talking about her father who passed away. She admitted that she was wrong for it and said that she deserved all the flack that she was getting from the fans on social media after they saw the way that she treated Slim. I will respect the fact that Summer was able to admit the fact that she was wrong. However, I don't know if she's really genuinely sorry for what she said or if she's just apologizing because the way the fans were eating her up for it. But either way, Slim ended up accepting her apology, so if she accepted it, I'm fine with that as well. So that's the end of the Baddies Midwest reunion and the end of the season. I personally think this was the best season yet. That's just my opinion. I feel like this season had a lot going on. Every episode, there was something. I felt like this season was really entertaining, and it just wasn't the OG sitting around being boring. The new season of Baddies Africa is coming out May 11th, so I will be reviewing that, as well as Baddies Gone Wild will be dropping on the same day. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies Midwest. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.